Hey guys, Henry Kaminski here from the Passionpreneur.net, and I am with a very, very awesome guest today for video podcast episode 24. We have Tina Meidel from Valiant Roar, and she is a fantastic human being. I can't wait for you guys to meet her. So Tina, without further ado, please introduce yourself and give us your story and give us how you are where you're at right now and where you're at in business right now. And then we have some cool conversation coming up.
Well, hi, Henry, and I want to take this opportunity to just tell everybody I am honored to have this opportunity to talk with you all, and I'm very excited about it. Really excited about it. So, because I have quite a story, and I am a survivor. I shouldn't even say survivor. I should say victor at different levels of my life. I am a victor of a brutal rape at the age of 14, which led into catastrophic and a turn of events that I inflicted on myself. Mm-hmm. And so, which turned into anorexia nervosa, and hospitalized for close to about a year of that time. Imagine being fed with tubes into your stomach, and just to survive. So, and I learned lots of, and I hate to admit this, but I learned some. I knew how to manipulate the whole system being hospitalized. So you don't reward people with rewards in that type of situation, because I turned it around on them. And that's a whole nother story. But so then that led into the attempted suicide, because I had hit a bottom that I never realized that I could even dig myself out of. But I did, and then suffered from 2 car accidents and survived breast cancer. And so I took, and I could have had, I wish I could have had a PhD degree in that, because I came up with I am the master of excuses. So if you ever read my quotes or anything, it's about, I don't accept limitations, and I know every excuse in the book, and I don't buy it from anybody anymore. And so I took those and created a positive, because I really, truly believe that I was dealt that in life to make me strong and to develop who I really am and what I really need to be doing. And so I take my message and I teach people that through the adversities and the strongholds of negativity that people have on their life or from other people, that you can become something powerful and fearless, and you don't have to accept what people dish out or what society or circumstances give you. It is all in your mind. I am not good at developing computers or developing web pages and et cetera. That's not what my talent is or my passion is. Mine is the mind, the mental. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. But I know what you feed your mind is what you're going to develop as your outside appearance. You feed it the negativity, you're going to be a very negative person. And I show you in small steps of what it takes to be successful. I took what was dealt for me and dug myself, and excuse my language, but dug myself out of that hell and developed it into becoming $1 million roundtable producer. And only 3% of the world in the financial service industries ever does it. Wow. And so it's one of my highest accomplishments that I'm very proud of, and not being arrogant about it. But I know if I can do this, that anybody can do this.
That's awesome.
That you can develop that core value or that integrity deep inside you. And you can, if you've given the right tools, Henry, you can't fix a car with computer tools and vice versa. You have to know the right tools. And there's a lot of scams and there is a lot of BS going around about there, how everybody can do this and how everybody can do that. Yeah. You've got to seek out the right individuals and the right people and know the authenticity that's behind what they're going to give you and know that they can help.
That's awesome. Listen, that is a great introduction. I appreciate you sharing all of that with us, and which leads me to kind of the next part of the show, which is talking about how one builds the mindset muscle, because I think mindset is a muscle. If you don't exercise it, if you don't use the proper tools to build it, you will have a tremendous difficulty succeeding not only in life but in business and every other part of your life, dating, relationship, whatever the case may be. So I'm a big firm believer of what you do, because I've gone through a similar situation, nowhere near the extravagance of yours. But one of the things one of the common denominators that I'm resonating with you on is getting that mindset right. And back a few years ago, when I started to spend some time and invest in myself and invest in a mindset coach, I saw the world completely different. So let me ask you, what are some of the biggest fears? What are some of the biggest mental blocks that people get when it comes to breaking through? Because you've had some extremely low moments in your life to the point of attempted suicide. And I've never gone there, and I have my own story, but it's nowhere near yours. And I say to myself, I felt like I was at a low, but that's a real, how do you come out of that? What do you do? Because it feels like during that time, it's like there's no way out.
Right. I was at the point where I no longer wanted to fight. There was nothing left in me of wanting to go on anymore. Then I had 2 little kids. And so that was my first step. They were my power to get me one step closer out of that black hole I was in. I had to find something in order, because I couldn't do it myself at that time. I had to find something outwardly to focus on.
Okay.
And I didn't take it day by day. I had to take it minute by minute and find one thing that I was going to make sure I lived to the next minute, and then take it another minute. And so then I survived 60 minutes. So I was alive for another hour. And then I just kept expanding on it and expanding on it. It was not an overnight success. And I started reading different books, listening to different things instead of, and I don't know if there's country music fans out there, but have you listened to country music? I mean, it's my dog ate my newspaper, my wife left me, blah. It's depressing. And I used to love country music. I changed what music I listened to. Because if you actually do listen to the lyrics, some of that stuff can really just bring your mindset into a lower level of what it was before. And so I did little things every day that was going to change what I was actually feeding my mind. And I would say in the last, 2 years, 3 years, I spend my first 20 minutes of my day feeding my mind everything that is going to get me, develop my mind for the rest of the day, that mindset of positivity.
Got it.
I have found out that, like when you wake up in the morning, you need to nourish your body. I mean, you have to eat the breakfast. in order to nourish the body. You have to do the same thing with nourishing your mind. You have to feed it to give it what it needs for the rest of the day, because life's going to attack you from the blind side. It does everybody. And so when people, whether what stage they are at, they need to search out, look for something or someone that's going to help them take that first step. Whether because some people can't do that by themselves. So they need to reach out and find that person to help them take that first step. And it may be baby steps, and you may have to crawl, but then when you start, it's like a child. You have to crawl first, then you walk, then you can run. But you can't skip those stages. You have, and I'll tell you, I did a couple times. I started to crawl, then I thought, I can run. I don't need to develop this walking system in the meantime, and it threw me back. And so then, of course, then I was back in a hospital again. So you have to crawl, walk, and run. So look for those people, whether it be it comes in your marriage, it comes in your professional life, it comes in your children, it comes in everything that you do, whether it's not a simple, it is a simple process.
But you got to realize
developed than others.
I think you got to realize it. And I think when we get down and we get depressed and we get in a funk, if you will, we don't change our state. We don't do the things to, what do they call that? Like a pattern interrupt, if you will, right? Where we get physical, or we just get up and move and shake. Like Tony Robbins is really good at that, right? It keeps you moving and keeps you, and it makes me realize that we all have a choice, right? We can continue to make excuses, or we could continue to take action. I'll give you a quick example. I was talking to a gentleman over the weekend, and he was in a funk because he spent the last 5 months trying to develop this program and sell this program for $2,500. And he skipped one of the steps that you mentioned. He was trying to run before he started to walk. And he spent the last 5 months unsuccessfully trying to sell his program. And now he's to the point where he's exhausted his finances. He doesn't know what to do. And he's stuck. And he feels like this is it. Like, I'm done. I'm finished. Like, throw in the towel. And I said, no. I said, it's just, you have a choice. You could continue to go down this road, or you can blaze a new one or go down. So you have a choice. And no matter how low or in that funk you are, you got to understand that the choice is yours. And you got to realize that choice. And I wanted to bring that out. So I just wanted to recap real quick, because you gave a couple monster value bombs that I want to point out. One is, you said when you start your day, start it with a mindset exercise, or you want to set yourself up for success. So the first 20 minutes, do something that's going to feed your mind in a positive way. I thought that was incredible, because how many of us jump out of bed, hear the alarm, jump in the shower, get our coffee, off to the races, and give us no time to build ourselves.
Right.
And then the second part is realizing that you have an opportunity, realizing that you have a opportunity to change, and now moving forward with that. And the reason why I want to bring this all together is your story inspires thousands of people, right? And a lot of you guys know I'm a big branding guy, and I think that everybody, in order to have an effective brand and have a brand that connects with their audience, you must tell your story. Like, there's not an if, it's when you tell your story, you will start to connect more with your audience. And Tina is a great example of how she impacts thousands of people, with her story. So let me ask you a question, because this I get a lot when I'm coaching my clients. Well, I don't know if my story is important enough. Maybe my story is kind of boring, Tina. like compared to other people. So like, why should I share it?
Here's what I would exactly say to that. Okay, God created you. Now, whether you believe in that higher power, you believe in something. You're here for a reason. Okay, so He created you. There is only one of you, so that makes you important. That makes whatever story is behind you just as important as the creation that was made. Mm-hmm. That's how I respond. No matter what adversity you've gone through, maybe you know how to do a certain type of painting, or you play the piano or something. You've been given something that makes you uniquely you, and that's a story. That's what you share.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is powerful stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that is people, and people are so ignorant of that, where they don't realize that, because people are like, I need help with my unique selling proposition, or I need help with my unique branding proposition that helps me separate myself from the rest. And you know what I say, Tina? It's so simple. It's you.
Yeah.
People can have similar.
You can make a web page look like anybody, but it's what's behind it, the passion. When you know your why and your passion, then you can create unlimited power and belief and extreme lifestyle that you want.
Right.
But nobody can do that for you. You have to do it.
Right. So no matter how much guidance you're getting from me, from Tina, from Tony Robbins, anybody out there, you have to pick up the baton and run. You have to make the next step. Tina and I can help you only so much, but you have to take that next step. Nobody's going to do it for you. And that's the biggest key. And knowing that you have that ability or that opportunity to take that next breath, you should be grateful, right? I see a lot of people focusing on what they don't have versus what they do have. And again, so I want to go a little bit deeper here. So besides setting your day up with success by creating the first 20 or 30 or an hour, I give myself an hour every day. How does one strengthen the mind muscle?
One of the first things that I did, and I tell anybody who asks, we all have goals, right? Not dreams. Dreams are goals without a deadline. These goals have to be written down. They have to be visual to you from them. So you get up, you spend a minimum of 20 minutes a day feeding your mind. Then you need to have these goals wrote down. I had and laminated 10, minimum of 10 on a list. You can create it with collages. You can create it with photos. I don't care how you do it. But your mind is visual. We are our minds are picture takers. So look at the picture. If your goal is in 10 years to be financially out of debt, then write it down. And put a deadline on it. Don't just put, I want to be, or I'm going to try to be, because you've already set yourself up for failure. You have to make a deadline. So one of my things, and this is kind of funny, I've gotten some of my stuff on my bucket list done, and I call it a bucket list. So I have one hanging on the bathroom mirror. It's laminated, okay? Then I have one in my car, and I see it every morning when I get in. I have one on my purse. I have one in my pajama drawer. I have one in my kitchen. So the main cupboard that I open up, I'm seeing those goals staring at me every day. I have them at my office. When I open my desk, it's staring at me right there. I have one, in my checkbook. So when I open my checkbook, it's right there. And I have a tiny one, and I would have to get reading glasses out to read it, but I know it's there, and I know it's on it on the back of my debit card. So when I use I am seeing it 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You have to visualize what you want in order to make it happen.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Because I was watching a Facebook Live last week, and this guy was talking about visualization, and he was talking about how before he just moved into this beautiful home, Orange County, California, on the water, just gorgeous, right? And he said when he got the keys at the closing and he walked into his house when it was finally his, he really wasn't that excited about it because when he walked in, he goes, "This was the house that I've seen for the past year in my mind."
Yeah.
And so talk to me about visualization and how important that is to achieving those goals that you want to achieve.
You see it, you believe it. And when you believe it, you can do anything with it. It's real simple. It's 3 steps. You see it, you believe it. In order to believe it, you've got to see it. I mean, it's a back and forth psychological that you've got to play with your mind.
Yeah.
I have a 67 Black Stingray Corvette in my mind that I'm going to have.
Mm-hmm.
I've had it in there since high school. That is my car, and I will have it. I could have it now, but it's not the one I want. In order to make that bucket list, it has to have everything in that car that I want. The engine, the tranny, everything has to be exactly as I see it, or I haven't accomplished what I set out to do. So when you're setting out a bucket list or your dream goal list, be very specific on it, what you want. If it comes down to the leather on the seats and certain stitching, you've got to make it very pinpointed of exactly what you want, or it's not going to mean anything.
No.
And so
getting real specific on what it is that you want. And that I remember this being told to me over and over again recently, it feels like, by different people. And they say, when I get stuck and I'm asking questions and I'm trying to get to the next step or the next level, my friend said, you just need to figure out right now, today, what's important to you in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That will answer your questions. That'll get you unstuck. Because when you answer that, whatever the question you have, the answer will appear. It's either going to be, yes, I need this, or yes, this must happen. This must happen. Or it's not that important. Put it aside, dismiss it, whatever you do, right? So it's asking that question, what's important to me in my life today, which will help me make this decision on whatever I'm stuck at. And so,
right.
Tina, we got to wrap this up because I could talk to you forever about this. But I mean, I want to talk to you. Like, lastly, bringing this home full circle. Like, how does one take action? How does one actually? So now you set yourself up for success every day. You have a clear vision and you're very specific on your goals. Now, how does one make that first step forward?
Okay. So let's just use an example. Web design is not my fortitude. Okay. So I was told once I have to make a lot of noise. I have to bring, in order to do what I wanted to do, I had to bring in the right tools, which I don't own all those tools in my toolbox. Right. So I have to bring them in. Then I utilize what services or products or talents that they have to help me build. It's the same with your finances, your professional career, your personal career, or what. You seek out that tool that you actually need that maybe you don't have access to. Use it from somebody, get it from somebody else, have them help you develop that tool. Yeah. If you're not as I put it, firing on all 8 cylinders, because I like speed. If you're not firing on all 8 cylinders, you're going to constantly be going 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. So you look for research. I can tell you, what to research and where to go and look for. You've got to decide that you want to take the first step, first of all.
Right.
Then search out what you need in order to start taking those steps to move forward, making that wheel go around, making that engine fire on all 8 cylinders, making the exhaust pop.
Yeah.
Because that you want to roar or you want to rumble, then you got to make sure you have the steps.
Yeah.
There are many resources out there to be able to look at, thoroughly research, use the advice of. You're going to need a coach.
Yeah.
You're going to need a mentor.
Yeah, I think that's
important. You're going to need somebody.
Yeah, for sure. You can't do this alone.
No. If I would have relied on trying to do building my brand, building my business, or even digging myself out of the hole, if I could relied on myself, I'll guarantee you I wouldn't be here.
That's right.
Because I didn't have it in me to do it.
That's it.
It's the same thing in developing your business, developing your marriage, your relationship, dating. You've got to utilize the resources around you in order to keep moving forward.
Yeah, that's excellent. And to put a nice little bow on what you just said, how you find those right people or right businesses to help you, or the mentor, the coach, or whatever you said, right? It's finding people that share the same values as you. Hold on one second. It's connecting with those people that have that same value set, and folks that are showing and proving themselves up front, right? And that are credible. They are authoritative. They've shown their grit. They've shown their expertise. And so those are some of the things that you should really pay attention to when you're building out this support team. So, man, I tell you, when you get around the right people, the right things happen. And that's right. That's what you're saying. And so with all this, I think, Tina, you've given tremendous amount of value today on so many different levels. And I know this audience is going to connect with you on so many different levels, because you've come full circle. You're running $1 million business now. You've been to hell and back. What's the one liner that you can give our audience as we finish this up and close this out?
Don't give up.
You heard it.
Seriously, don't give up on yourself.
You heard it.
Other people are going to do it. They're going to give up on you. Don't give up on yourself. Because I know, I don't care where you're from, what you've been through, you've got it in you. Even if it's just a minute grain of salt deep inside, you've got it in you.
Listen to Tina, guys. Man, I could have given up. I could have given up 1,000 times in my career, and something got me up every single time. And it was different things. It was different thought processes. It was different. It was different people. It was external things, whatever that is, right? I found it and I kept going. And that's the biggest thing Tina's saying is you gotta keep going. Get up, put the Band-Aid on your knee, wipe it off, whatever that is. Do what you got to do, but never give up. Tina, thank you so much for spending 30 minutes with us today and sharing your expertise. And I just thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. I mean, I always love talking to people, so I am honored. And to all who listened, I'm very honored that you took the time and listened to my story. So check me out, Valiant Roar. check them out on my website.
Will do.
Love y'all.
Will do. Thanks a lot, Tina. And there you have it, guys. Episode 24 of the Passionpreneur Video Podcast. I'll catch you on the next episode, guys. Hope you got some value out of this one. Talk soon. Bye-bye.